live and archived games. Read about the teams and players. Relive the big moments. Every season, the TribLive High School Sports Network is your home for high school sports. The best seat in the house is on Trib HSSN.
Your Papa of the Pairings show, Don Rebel here. It is the WPIAL Softball Playoff Pairings show on the TribLive High School Sports Network. It is presented by our good friends at Edgar Snyder and Associates. Go local, go with Edgar, helping injured people since 1982. EdgarSnyder.com if you need their help. I'm here to help. I'm here to help you let you know the various paths of the upcoming WPIAL Softball Playoffs 2026 version, which will all conclude Wednesday, May 27th and Thursday, May 20th, a little early this year, at Lilly Field, Penn West University, California, Cal U, if you will. The championship games, 3 on that Wednesday, 3 on Thursday. So who will be there will be determined over the next couple of weeks. Let's first off give out a tip of the cap, a shout out, if you will, to the section champions, the regular season champion, only one section in Class 6A. That belonged to the Hempfield Spartans. In 5A, Fox Chapel and Plum are co-champions, Shaler. They were Fox Chapel and Plum tied for second. Shaler, your outright champion in Section 1. Penn Trafford wins Section 2. We did have co-champs, West Allegheny and Montour in Section 3. Thomas Jefferson wins Section 4. In Class 4A, Knock is your outright section champion in 1. Section 2, Elizabeth Forward. Section 3, Blackhawks. In 3A, Section 1, Mount Pleasant. Section 2, Mohawk, defending champ. Section 3, South Park. 2A, Laurel in Section 1. South Allegheny, Section 2. Chartiers Houston, Section 3. And Betworth in Section 4. And finally, in Class A, Union in Section 1, Carmichael's in Section 2, and Sarah Catholic in Section 3. Those are your outright section champions or co-champions in a couple of cases. All right, let's get right to it, shall we? We'll be talking to Scott Moore. He is the former athletic director. He's still involved down at Jefferson Morgan. We'll have to find out what he's doing nowadays. He's like got one leg in, one leg out as far as that retirement line is concerned. But he is the chairperson of the WPIAL Softball Committee. He's been doing so for a few years. He will be kind enough to join us to help us break some of these brackets down. We'll start in 6A, again, with only one section. It's top 6 teams make it to the playoffs, and it usually goes into a first, second, third. And that's the situation here with one caveat. Number 1, Hempfield, they will have a bye into the WPIAL semifinals, as will number 2, Seneca Valley. The third seed is the Norwin Knights. They finished in 3rd place. 4th seed is Canna McMillan. They finished in 4th place. There was a tie for 5th place, Mount Lebanon and Pine Richland. So that was really the only question mark coming into the pairings. Who would be 5? Who would be 6? 5 goes to Mount Lebanon, and 6 goes to Pine Richland. So the Blue Devils will take on the Big Macs in the quarterfinals, and the Rams will take on the Knights in the other quarterfinal. Those 2 quarterfinals will take place Tuesday, May 12th. Mount Lebanon, Canna McMillan will take place at Peters Township, the Pleasant Valley Elementary School. That's the field, the turf field, up above the old high school, which is now the Peters Township Middle School, where the stadium is. Norwin Pine Richland, that game at Plum High School on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. That Mount Lebanon Cannon McMillan game, by the way, is Tuesday at 6 p.m. at Pleasant Valley Elementary. All right, 5A. I believe the only classification of the 12, if you throw in baseball, that has a pigtail game, preliminary round game. 17 teams make it, so 2 teams will battle for the number 16 spot. Those 2 teams are teams that are very familiar with each other. They finished tied for 4th place in Section 3 of Class 5A. The Upper St. Clair Panthers and the Moon Tigers. USC 8-8, Moon 8-10. They will play for the 16th seed Monday afternoon, 3 o'clock at Montour High School. They're playing for the 16th seed and the right to take on Gulp, the Shaler Titans. Yeah, they are the number 1 seed, and that's no surprise. Would have been a surprise if they weren't the number 1 seed. Outright section champions in Section 1. Shaler won it all a year ago, trying to do it all again this season as the number 1 seed. They will take on the Upper St. Clair Moon winner on Tuesday, May 12th, 5 o'clock at North Allegheny High School. The first round games in 5A will all be on Tuesday. So 5 o'clock for the Upper St. Clair Moon winner against Shaler at North Allegheny. Number 8 seed is the Armstrong Riverhawks. They finished in 2nd place in Section 2 of Class 5A. They will take on the Fox Chapel Foxes. They tied Plum for 2nd place in Section 1. Riverhawks and Foxes Tuesday, 3 o'clock at Plum High School. 4th seed is the West Allegheny Indians, co-champs in Section 3. West Allegheny will take on the 13th seed Latrobe Wildcats. They finished in 4th place in Section 2. West A and Latrobe Tuesday, 3 o'clock at Gateway High School. 5th seed is the Baldwin Highlanders. Baldwin finished in 2nd place in Section 4. They will take on the 12th seed Kiski Area Cavaliers. The Cavs finished in 3rd place in Section 2. Baldwin against Kiski Area, 3 o'clock Tuesday at Norwin High School. Bottom of the bracket, Thomas Jefferson, your outright Section 4 champions, very young squad. They get the number 2 seed, and in round 1, they will take on the South Fayette Lions. South Fayette finished in 3rd place in Section 3 with a 10-8 record. Thought that they actually, I think I had them at 14 and thought they would be higher than that, but they get the number 15 seed. South Fayette against Thomas Jefferson. Pleasant Valley Elementary School in Peters Township, Tuesday at 4 p.m. 7th seed is the Trinity Hillers. Trinity finished in 3rd place in Section 4. They will take on the Plum Mustangs, tied for 2nd place out of Section 1. Plum against Trinity at Gateway High School on Tuesday at 5 p.m. 3 seed is the Section 2 outright champion, Penn Trafford Warriors. They, in round 1, will take on the Connellsville Falcons, who are the 14th seed. Connellsville finished in 4th place in Section 4. Falcons and Warriors, that's an old football rivalry from back in the day, at Norwin High School on Tuesday at 5 p.m. And finally, the 6th seed is the Montour Spartans, co-champs in Section 3, another young team. They will take on the North Hills Indians. North Hills finished in 4th place in Section 1. North Hills Montour, 3 o'clock Tuesday at North Allegheny High School. That is the 5A bracket. By the way, the 6A, only the champion goes to the state playoffs. That's a bit of a head scratcher, but whatever. Top 4 teams in 5A will go on to the 4 semifinalists that make it in 5A will advance to the PIAA state playoffs. All right, to 4A now. Number 1 seed is the Elizabeth Forward Warriors. They are the champions of Section 2. They get a bye in the first round, so they are already into the quarterfinals. They'll play the winner of the 8-9 game. 8th seed is the Beaver Bobcats. Beaver out of Section 3 finished in 4th place. They get the number 8 seed, and they will take on the Derry Trojans, the number 9 seed. Derry was the 3rd place team out of Section 1. Derry against Beaver, Bobcats v. Trojans, Monday, the 11th, May 11th, 3 o'clock at Gateway High School. 4th seed in the 4A tournament is the Hampton Talbots, defending champions in Class 4A. Hampton, a bit of a tough start to this season, but they finished strong, ended up tied for 2nd place in Section 3. As the 4th seed, they will take on Greensburg-Salem. The Golden Lions finished in a tie for 4th place with Freeport in Section 1 of Class 4A. Hampton, Greensburg-Salem, Monday at Gateway High School at 5 p.m. 5th seed, the Indiana Little Indians. Indiana finished 2nd in Section 1. They will take on the Uniontown Red Raiders, tied for 3rd place with West Mifflin in Section 2. Uniontown against Indiana, Monday, 4 o'clock at Norwin High School. The 2 seed, like Elizabeth Forward, gets a first-round bye. That is the Knock Knights, champions of Section 1. They will await the winner of the 7-10 game. 7th seed is the North Catholic Trojans. They finished tied for 2nd in Section 3. They will take on the West Mifflin Titans. Mentioned they tied Uniontown for 3rd place in Section 2. North Catholic West Mifflin, Monday, 5 o'clock at Montour High School. Blackhawk gets the number 3 seed, the champions of Section 3. So the 3 section winners all get first-round byes. Blackhawk will await the winner of the 6-11 matchup. Laurel Highlands is the number 6 seed. The Mustangs were the runners-up in Section 2 behind Elizabeth Forward. They will take on Freeport last in the dance. Yellow Jackets had to win and get some help. They got all that earlier this week. They finished tied for 4th place with Greensburg-Salem in Section 1. Freeport against Laurel Highlands, Monday, 2 p.m. at Norwin High School. All right, in 4A, the top 3 teams make it to the PIAA playoffs. So the 2 finalists and then the winner of the consolation game between the semifinal losers off to the PIAA state playoffs. All right, Class 3A, kind of same as last year. South Park was number 1. Mohawk was number 2. They met in the championship. Mohawk beat South Park. Those 2 teams have met now the last 2 years. Could it be 3 in a row? They're the top 2 seeds. South Park is the number 1 seed. Champions of Section 3 were undefeated for most of the season, 16-1, their final record. They will await the winner of the 8-9 game. The 8th seed, the Avonworth Antelopes, the 3rd place team out of Section 2. They will be playing the York Cougars, who finished in 3rd place out of Section 1. York versus Avonworth. That first-round game is Thursday, May 14th, 5 o'clock at Gateway High School, with the winner taking on South Park. 4th seed in the tournament is Elwood City. They finished in 2nd place in Section 2, so they are the only runner-up to get a first-round bye. They are the 4th seed. They will await the winner, Elwood City, of the McGuffey-Hopewell game. McGuffey is the 4th seed. The Highlanders finished tied for 2nd place in Section 3 behind South Park. Hopewell is the 12th seed. The Vikings finished in 4th place in Section 2. Hopewell McGuffey, Thursday, 3 o'clock at Montour High School. 2 seed is the two-time defending champions, the Mohawk Warriors, champions of Section 2. They will await the winner of the 7-10 game. The 7th seed, the Keystone Oaks Golden Eagles, tied for 2nd place in Section 3. The 10th seed, the Deer Lakes Lancers, the 4th place team out of Section 1. Lancers and Golden Eagles Thursday, 5 o'clock at Plum High School. Finally, Mount Pleasant, the champions of Section 1, they also receive a first-round bye as the number 3 seed. They'll take on the winner of the 6-11 game. 6th seed is the Borough Bucks, runners-up in Section 1 behind Mount Pleasant. Charleroi, the 4th-place team out of Section 3, is the 11th seed. The Cougars and the Buccaneers at Norwin High School on Thursday at 3 p.m. Top 3 teams from Class 3A make it into the PIAA state playoffs. All right, let's go to Class 2A now, where a full bracket of 16 teams and the number 1 seed, the outright winner of Section 1, the Laurel Spartans, are the number 1 seed, dethroning Neshannock, who had been section champions for the last 48 years, I think it was. So Laurel, not only the section champion, but also the number 1 seed. These first-round games in 2A, by the way, are Thursday, May 14th, and this should be a pretty exciting Class 2A tournament in WPIAL softball. Up first for the Laurel Spartans, the 16th seed, it will be Shadyside Academy. The Bulldogs finished in 4th place out of Section 2. SSA versus Laurel, Thursday, 6 o'clock. That's May 14th, 6 p.m. at North Allegheny High School. The 8th seed is Seton LaSalle, runners-up out of Section 3. They will take on in round 1 the Fraser Commodores, the number 9 seed. They finished tied for second in Section 4. Fraser against Seton LaSalle, Thursday, 3 o'clock at West Mifflin High School. 4th seed is South Allegheny. The Gladiators finished as champions in Section 2. They will take on the Brownsville Falcons. Brownsville finished tied for second with Fraser in Section 4. Falcons and Gladiators, Thursday, 5 o'clock at Norwin High School. 5th seed, 4-time champion, Neshannock Lancers. It's really odd to see them down in that left-hand side of the bracket, but it is what it is. Still a very successful season. Neshannock finished in a tie with Shenango for second place, 1 game behind Laurel. It was a jam-packed run at first place along with Riverside. Neshannock, the 5th seed, they'll take on Our Lady of the Sacred Heart, Osh, the 4th place team out of Section 3. That game, 4 o'clock on Thursday at North Allegheny High School. 2 seed, the Chartiers Houston Buccaneers, perfect as champions of Section 3, nearly perfect in the season, 16-1. As the 2 seed, they will take on the Washington Little Prexies, the number 4 seed out of Section 2, the number 4 team out of Section 4, I should say, of 2A. Chartiers Houston against Washington, Thursday, 6 o'clock at Trinity High School. 7th seed, the Riverside Panthers. Mentioned them. They finished in 4th place, but don't be deceived. That's a very strong team that was in the chase for first place for a while. Riverside will take on the Brentwood Spartans. Brentwood finished in a tie for second place in Section 2. Spartans and Panthers, Thursday, 5 o'clock at West Mifflin High School. Number 3 seed, Bentworth Bearcats. They were undefeated for a good portion of the season as well. Won the Section 4 title with a perfect record. Bentworth will be the 3 seed, and they'll be taking on 14th seed Burgettstown, 3rd place team out of Section 3. Those 2 teams meet 4 o'clock at Trinity High School on Thursday, May 14th. And finally, Shenango is the 6th seed. The number, they finished tied for second place in Section 1 with Neshannock after breaking the Lancers' long win streak. Shenango will battle Apollo Ridge. Vikings finished tied for second place in Section 2 with Brentwood. Vikings Wildcats, Thursday, 6:30 at Seneca Valley High School. Top 4 teams, 4 semifinalists make it to the state playoffs in 2A. softball. And I think, and we'll talk about this with Scott Moore, but not to downplay the first-round games, but you get into the quarterfinals in that bracket, man, that's going to be some good stuff. All right, finally, Class A, 12 teams, so there are 4 first-round byes. The number 1 seed, champions of Section 1, the Union Scotties. Once again, at the top of the bracket, Union, as the number 1 seed, gets a first-round bye. They will wait to the quarterfinals. By the way, those quarterfinals in Class A will be on Monday, May 18th. Not this upcoming Monday, so a week from Monday. Union will be taking on the winner of the 8-9 game. The 8th seed is the Jeanette Jayhawks, the second-place team out of Section 3, behind Sarah Catholic. Jeanette will take on Bishop Canavan, the Crusaders, the number 4 team out of Section 1. Bishop Canavan against Jeanette Thursday, May 14th, 3 o'clock at Plum High School, with the winner getting Union in the quarterfinals. 4th seed is the Section 3 champion, Sarah Catholic. They get a first-round bye. They will await the winner of the 5-12 game. 5th seed, Jefferson Morgan. Rockets finished in 3rd place in Section 2. They will face the Leechburg Blue Devils. The streak continues barely. They make it into the playoffs late by edging out Ellis School for 4th place. But I think it's now 38 years in a row for the Blue Devils, so kudos to them. Leechburg against Jefferson Morgan Thursday, May 14th, 3 o'clock at Gateway High School, with the winner taking on Sarah Catholic in the quarterfinals. Carmichael's, the champions of Section 2. They earn a first-round bye as the number 2 seed. They'll await the winner of the 7-10 game. 7th seed, Sewickley Academy, finished tied for 2nd place in Section 1. The Panthers will take on Monessen. The Greyhounds finished in 3rd place in Section 3. Monessen against Sewickley Academy Thursday, 5 o'clock at Montour High School, with the winner advancing to play Carmichael's. Finally, Southside is the number 6 seed. The Rams finished tied for 2nd with Sewickley Academy in Section 1. They will take on the 11th seed Beth Center Bulldogs, the 4th place team out of Section 2. Beth Center against Southside Thursday at North Strabane Intermediate School. That's where Canna McMillan plays their home games. Thursday, May 14th at 4:30, with the winner advancing to take on West Green. Totally missed out on the Pioneers. They are the number 3 seed. West Green finished as the runners-up in Section 2 behind Carmichael's and ahead of Jefferson Morgan. So those 3 teams, Carmichael's, West Green, Jefferson Morgan, earn spots 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 5, I should say, in the Class A softball playoffs. Class A, the top 3 teams, so the finalists and the consolation winner, will advance to play in the PIAA playoffs. All right, so we first round games, we have a couple of them on Monday. I think 4A are the Monday games. There are no first round games in 6A. First round games in 5A will be on Tuesday of next week. There is one prelim game. That is Monday. And then the first round games in Class 3A, Class 2A, and Class A are all a week from today on Thursday, the 14th. All right, we'll take a break, and when we return, Scott Moore. He is the chairman of the WPIAL Softball Committee. He will join us to give us his expertise, and he's just flowing with that kind of stuff. It is the 2026 WPIAL Softball Playoff Pairing Show here on the TribLive High School Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Adam Goodnack, and I'm a student in Seton Hill University's Wukich School of Nursing. I did my clinical rounds throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, and it strengthened my belief in the path that I chose. I could really feel that I was making an impact. The faculty in my coursework at Seton Hill has prepared me to dive right into my field. I've received personalized support and expert guidance. I'm moving forward as a nurse of tomorrow at Seton Hill University.
You're watching the TribLive High School Sports Network.
All right, we're back. 2026 WPIAL Softball Playoff Pairing Show. We'll do this again tomorrow, 1 o'clock for the WPIAL baseball brackets. The pairing show, 1 o'clock on TribLive High School Sports Network and all of our platforms, various platforms. I'd bring Chris Lackner in to explain all that. Chris, do you want to jump in and explain all that? All our various platforms?
It's not that many platforms. It's just Facebook, Twitter, or X as they call it now, and YouTube.
That's a lot of platforms.
More and more every year.
Back in the day, we just used to be on one particular radio station, and that was it. So
the kids don't have to gather around the radio anymore. They can watch it these days.
That's right. I love and you can plug how to do this. These watch shows, the viewer show, a lot of teams do. Although I think a lot of teams are practicing right around now. It turned out to be a nice day, but the viewer shows, and they'll send photos of the team together watching. And man, me on one of those giant screens is a very scary thought. I mean that'll set those kids straight, that's for sure. But if anyone's having those kind of parties, what can they do, Christopher?
They can tweet the picture to us, TribLive HSSN at TribLive HSSN.
All right,
tweet it.
I know I do. I don't know the difference between hashtags and ats, so I got to rely on you.
No, yeah, you can just tweet it to us, and I'll scoop it up, and we'll throw it on the screen here.
Yeah. All right, pal. Thank you. I know you love jumping in here on these things.
Yeah, I love my FaceTime. It's my favorite thing.
He is a superstar. Chris Lackner, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. We said bye to Chris. Let's bring in Scott Moore, waiting patiently. Well, he's in some sort of deep fog down there in Greene County.
I don't know what it is. You know what this is? I don't use that camera ever, except when I talk to you. So, I've tried to clean it like 5 times. I don't know. It's
You're as bad as I am.
I know. It's true.
Well, it's almost like you're in witness protection. So
it is. Well, I might have to be.
That's right. But before we get started breaking down the brackets, I mentioned it used to have to be, teams. Everyone would gather around the radio station. You know those. You were back in radio back in the day.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. It was fun. I still help out every once in a while when the fellows down here get short. I always call myself, I'm kind of like the Beasley Reese, the guy they bring in for like the sixth game.
It's right. When the network's overburdened by games.
Yeah. Well, where's Beasley Reese today? Maybe he can cover the game for us.
That's a good call. So now I said when I was promoting your visit that you are no longer the athletic director at Jefferson Morgan. You're still involved, right?
Yes, I'm the associate.
Associate.
Yes, that's a fancy term for someone who gets called on when no one else wants to do things. So they bring me in because they figure, he's over 60, he'll be fine.
Well, you can't go full force into retirement. You got to ease your way in.
No, listen. I help out Jefferson Morgan. As they were good to me, and I'll always be good to them.
Excellent. All right, let's talk some softball. Nothing really. To be honest with you, before we get started, I try to give a quick glance through the brackets. Nothing jumped out of like, whoa, what the heck is this? We'll start in 6A. Same old, right? Hempfield at the top. Seneca Valley. They have They lost their star pitcher, but it shows you what kind of program that is that there's still a very strong team. Norwin, don't sleep on the Knights. They had a strong year and finished a very close third and were competitive when they played the Raiders and Spartans. So it played out just as the standings. Cannon McMillan got off to a great start. Then, they really hit a wall, but they seem to have straightened the ship a little bit. So first round games on Tuesday, Pine Richland against Norwin, Mount Lebanon against Cannon Mac. And then Hempfield awaits the Big Mac Blue Devil winner. Seneca Valley awaits the Norwin Rams winner. You can add anything, but I guess the question I have for you, since you are on the committee, is there help coming? I mean, or are we going to get with the new 2-year cycle any teams moving up to 6A to help solve this lack of teams type thing?
You know what? We didn't get into that today, the realignment or anything like that today. We'll do that over the summer. We'll have that sometime in August and September. We'll release it to the ADs. Are there some people coming up? I think there is. I think there's a couple that might be, and we may have to. It's, believe me, we're not happy with the amount of teams there. We'd love to have more, but it's just how the numbers are across the state, and a lot of people, have to understand, whatever it is across the state. We're a small school district area, District 7, and the big schools are all out east. And it really sucks when you get to the state bracket, because whoever comes out of here, man, I mean, they're traveling.
Yeah. And also the fact that, and this happened, I think last year may have been the first year, this 2-year cycle, where District 7's only getting the champion. Only one team gets to go in, and I know that has been a sore point amongst a lot of local teams.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, I wish there was a way. with the math, and that we could get our first place and second place. Because last year it was a Seneca got beat, I believe, right in the finals.
Yeah, correct.
And they might have been the third best team in the state, or the second best team in the state. But they don't get to go and play in it, and that's that's terrible. I hate it. Everyone hates it, but it's it's what we're dealt with, and we just have to deal with it.
Yeah. Again, none of that has been decided yet by the state, but it'll be interesting to see, even if a couple more teams, one or two, that first of all, locally, you can maybe finally get back to 2 sections instead of just the one section. But overall, in a bigger picture, maybe we get 2 teams back into the 6A softball bracket. All right, 5A. It's always roll up your sleeve time in 5A, no matter what sport. I don't care if you're talking football. I don't care if you're talking boys or girls basketball or baseball tomorrow. Softball is the same thing in 5A softball. I think it was pretty clear. Number one in softball, Shaler was a pretty dominant team. So I guess the big chase was for number 2. Thomas Jefferson gets 2, Penn Trafford 3. Some discussion there.
Yes, a lot of discussion with this, because at the beginning of the year, I don't know if you remember, it was TJ. I think it was March 15th. I think TJ played Shaler and beat him 3-0. But that was back in March, and then teams changed through the season, so you have to take that into account as well. I think Thomas Jefferson and Penn Trafford are you can interchange those as well, 2 and 3 and 3 and 2. They're all on that same side of the bracket, so it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of there. But you talk about a loaded side of the bracket. You got that. You got Montour, who's playing very well right now, and then you got Trinity, who's really playing well. Yep. And it was something we talked about, but that side of the bracket's very, very. It's whoever comes out of there is going to earn it.
Yeah, and it's funny because most teams, when there's a clear-cut number 1 in any sport, most teams are saying, "Oh, we want to be on the other side of the bracket." Well, a lot of these teams got their wish, and it's not going to be a lot of fun.
No, it's. It really is. that side of the bracket is really, really going to be tough. It's going to be a very difficult road for someone to get through there.
Scott, share some of the discussion with me as far as we have West Allegheny as the 4th seed. They were co-champions with Montour. Montour beat them the second time around, although I think those games were like within a week of each other. Montour gets the 6th seed. And you don't necessarily have to go into the dynamics of this, but I'm always curious when a committee has teams that are either co-champs or maybe even 2 teams tied for second that are then separated by more than one. They're not back-to-back in the seedings.
Well, I mean, there's several things we look at. One of the big things we look at is your non-conference schedule as well. Who are you beating in the non-conference? And we found it, especially in 5A, especially 2A, we found people just kind of beating each other up. And it was hard to try to, where you put this one. And it comes down to just, you sit there and you just kind of look at, one game and then you look at another game, but then, when are they playing? When are they getting hot? When are they playing well? And that kind of went into the fact with 5A, with West A, and also with Baldwin and Montour.
Yeah, the Indians 4, Highlanders 5, Spartans 6, as we talked about. But I was just always curious about that. And let's go into PSA mode.
Okay.
Old radio term.
Okay.
The one thing when I'm doing these, and I do it for all the big sports, the bracketology, where you throw your 2 cents in and it's worth just that 2 cents. So you're looking at everybody's schedule, and you keep in mind sections, because some sections are stronger and or deeper than others. But you also look at what they're doing non-section, and it frustrates me when I see good teams that aren't exactly challenging, don't have a challenging non-sections. You can't control your section. You can control who you play in non-section. And when I'm looking for quality wins and don't find any, it's frustrating. Does the committee feel the same way?
Yes, they do. And sometimes, there was a discussion today about that, that very topic about, the non-section schedule. I mean, like some years you'll see some schools, they get to a certain point and they go, all right, we're locked in at second. Are we going to play these 2 teams down here? Do we want to put them on this, or we just want to just kind of ride this thing out and see where the committee puts us? Or you have someone like, I'll give a perfect, like Frazier. Frazier's playing everybody right now. I mean, I think Donnie Hartman's living on a school bus right now for Frazier High School. He's going everywhere. He's playing everybody here, and he's going over here. He's just trying to get games in to try to, improve. And I get that. I understand, and I appreciate that. I like to see those types of things. Billy Sims is another one who does that. West Green, he'll play anybody. He doesn't care. Yeah. He'll play anybody.
It's easier for the bigger schools, and you're from a smaller school, and you probably can attest to this. It's easier for the bigger schools because you can really take on whoever you want, and there's no shame if you're a good 5A team and you go play and lose to like one of the elite 3A programs. There's no shame in that. You're not going to get penalized. Whereas smaller schools, I've talked to coaches who have said we want to play anybody and everybody, but the bigger schools won't play us.
Well, there is some truth to that. Or they wait till a certain date and they'll go, okay, now we'll play. Like after we have met. I mean, it's just what it is. I mean, sometimes coaches, they try to protect their team, and I respect part of that. I get that. But I also, I like to see the schools that go out and they load up their schedule after, especially when you were talking like the smaller schools. I mean, our sections were done like a week and a half ago. I mean, we were already done. So now what we're doing, we're just trying to find games. So, like for instance, West Green picked up Bentworth, and that's a big game. Waynesburg. They were playing. We played Waynesburg. You're just trying to find those big games. And like you said, and it does happen sometimes. Some schools they don't want to come down and play against the smaller schools, but it's something to just look at. I mean, we do look at believe me, we look at everything.
Yeah.
And we don't always agree, but I respect everybody in that room, and everybody in that room has like I said, we don't always agree, but we always respect each other's opinions on things.
We're with Scott Moore. He is the chairperson of the WPIAL Softball Steering Committee. Softball brackets are out and up on our site. Class 2, or let's go to Class 4A now, as we are looking at the brackets. Again, I think a pretty clear-cut number 1, Elizabeth Forward. They did very well without Julia Resnick. They get her back, and look out. Knock is number 2. Blackhawk is 3. Those 3 section champions all get first round buys. Defending champion Hampton coming on. They had their struggles early on, but again, as you mentioned, it's all about timing. They seem to have finished with a strong kick, and they are the number 4 seed.
Well, what I found interesting in here was the fact that was it North Catholic? North Catholic was like second, and they had beaten the section champion twice.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations. I don't think we've ever had that. I don't ever remember that ever happening. But they had a couple losses in there as well. But everyone's talking about Elizabeth Ford, and rightfully so. They're going to be tough to beat. But Knox had a really good year. Hampton and Elizabeth Ford is a possible. You may have a possible semifinal match, but don't turn your back on Indiana. Indiana somehow, some way, always sneaks in there. It seems like in the last couple of years, they have a pretty strong team here, and it'll be interesting how that turns out.
Yeah, another team when I was doing my research that jumped out. Indiana's a good call by you, and another possible dark horse is you guys have them as the number 6 seed. Is Laurel Highlands. They get Freeport, the last team to the dance, just qualifying the other day in the first round, then a possible matchup with Blackhawk. But the Mustangs have had a pretty strong season with some quality wins.
Yeah, they did. And, it's nice to see the Laurel Highlands getting back up in there. I didn't get the chance to see Laurel Highlands this year, so I didn't get a chance to watch them. I watch a lot, believe me. My wife, she sees me leave the house at 3 o'clock and was going somewhere. I try to see as many of those, schools as I can. And Laurel Highlands, I didn't get a chance to see them, but I did. They had a real good game with Carmichael's the other day, and they beat some of the other. I just can't remember off the top of my head now. So Laurel Highlands is going to be. They're sneaky. They're going to be sneaky.
Yep, and there always are. You guys do a great job. It's a lot of times once we head south to Lily Field, you're seeing 1s versus 2s, 1s versus 3s. But there are times where the 6, 7, 8s, and 9s sneak in there, and that makes it even more intriguing.
We get a lot of. I don't want to say a lot. We get that 6 seed kind of rears its head.
Yeah.
Every year, someone out of that little part of the bracket always comes out.
Yep, bottom right.
Yep.
Everyone talks about the 5-12 in the March Madness. Well, it's the 6th seed in district softball to keep an eye on. All right, let's go down to Class 3A now as we continue to look over the brackets. Don Rebel, Scott Moore. 3A, believe the top 2, same situation as we saw in 2025. South Park was 1, Mohawk was 2. They had met in 2024 in the championship with Mohawk winning. They met again in 2025 with Mohawk winning. So if it ain't broke, let's keep it going. The Eagles are the number 1 seed again. Up until I think last week, they were undefeated. Mohawk is the number 2 seed, Mount Pleasant 3, and Elwood City 4. So you keep putting that little chip on the Warriors' shoulder, and they keep knocking it off.
I know they used to do it. Well, I like the fact you were just talking about playing games. South Park went out and they played Hemphill.
Yeah.
They went and they played Hemphill, and that was a big game there. Those are the things we like to see and stuff. And
Agreed.
Mohawk is always there, and the other team I brought up today, and we were talking is Elwood City. Every year we say Elwood City just kind of finds its way into the semifinals or close to the semis. They always knock off somebody, and I'm gonna tell you, don't sleep on Elwood City either. Huh? I mean that's a good program right there. They always are.
Well, that section is strong. Those northern sections in 2A, 3A, and even 4A, but 3A, Elwood City finished second to Mohawk, but I thought that was a good call by you. They were probably the top second place team. The 3 section champions are 1, 2, 3 with buys, and then Elwood City earned that 4th bye.
Yeah, I've learned my lesson with Elwood City. I don't. I think it's taken 20 years, but I think I figured it out.
Before we get to we'll keep the 3A bracket up there for another second. What I know that you guys have split up big school, small school over the last couple of years, and it's a tradition that continues here. We have there's no first round in 6A, of course. 5A first round on Tuesday. You got 4A first round on Monday. But then you have 3A, 2A, and Class A all opening up on Thursday. Is there any rhyme or reason to that?
Well, there's a lot of it depends on the schools that we're dealing with and what's available to us. Because remember, we're at the mercy of our schools to open up their facilities for it, and we appreciate everything they do to do that. Sometimes it's for whatever reason we do this. We try to keep the games, somewhat even. If we got 16 going on Tuesday, then we want to make sure we have relatively about the same thing. Plus, with the umpires and stuff like that, we want to make sure we keep it as equal as possible. Why is it 1, 2, 3? Just kind of how it worked out this year.
Okay.
No really rhyme or reason.
All right, we'll continue on now. And again, I'm glad you mentioned that, because the big beef when you get to the point of neutral sites, people are saying neutral site. This school's this many miles from here, and it's all comes down to what Vince and the WPIAL have to work with as far as what sites will host, and not all sites will host. So sometimes you get an awkward matchup, but it is what it is.
Yeah, there's sometimes we can't. I mean, it's just because especially in May, because school districts have banquets, they got their musical, they got the prom, they've got this, they got everything going on, and we don't mess with the prom.
Yep. No, that's a losing battle.
No, we don't mess with the prom.
Were you prom king back in the day?
Not a chance.
Okay, very good.
So class of 82 of West Green, now that ain't going to happen.
All right. 2A, probably right up there with 5A as far as most difficult to see, because it is a deep tournament. And I don't want to disrespect those teams that are on that ended up with double-digit seeds. But I was talking to Dan Alderson, who's now the AD at Chartiers Houston. His wife, Tricia, of course, by the way, congratulations to her going into the Hall of Fame coming up in a couple weeks. But we were talking Chartiers Houston right in the middle of those teams that are wearing a contender's cap. And I said to him, man, after the first round of the 2A tournament, it is going to be incredible, because there was so much talent at the top of the 4 sections. This had to be a tough one to put together.
Oh, this was probably one of the most difficult ones we've ever had to do. I mean, it really is, because first off, you have the tradition of Lawrence County,
Yes.
You got to deal with those guys up there. All right. And then you're sitting there and you're looking at Neshannock, and you've got, what do you mean? They're not 1 or 2? What do you mean Neshannock's not number 1? And, so it was some of the things we talked about, but it was very, very, very tough to get this thing and for all of us to agree. But we came to a consensus. This is what we came up with. I'm sure you can go through there. You can find, why is this happening or why is that happening? It was. Before we even started the meeting, I'm on that committee with Heather Hibner from North Allegheny, and she looked at me. She says, "Wait till we get to 2A." I go, "I know." It was crazy.
What was the because we talked about some of these others, obviously with Hempfield and Shaler and Elizabeth Forward, kind of clear cut as far as who would be number 1. What went into Laurel beating out teams like Chartiers, Houston, and Bentworth to get that number 1 seed?
Yeah, it was consensus of the committee. It really was. It was consensus of the committee. Like you said, we don't always agree, but we respect everyone's opinion. Laurel was one of the ones we talked about. Chartiers Houston was one we talked about. Even Bentworth's name came up there as well. I think the fact that the Lawrence County, how they've been playing those schools up there with Laurel and Neshannock and who am I forgetting? Shenango. Yeah, Shenango. It was something that it took a while to figure out. When you did like the 4A, you said, okay, Elizabeth Ford, there's one. All right. This one took a while. A while, which I kind of figured it was going to. We all knew it was going to take a while.
Yeah, and no offense to the Buccaneers, no offense to the Bearcats, that because they kind of ran away and hid from their section, but their section wasn't as loaded as Section 1, that northern, Lawrence County section where, and the fact that Laurel, after they all stopped beating on each other, Laurel came out on top a game in front of Neshannock and Shenango in a couple games, I think, up on Riverside. The fact that they were an outright champion in that section, that's what I thought that, I had them going number 1 as well.
Yeah, that's what that was the majority of the board. That's what they or the committee. That's what they thought. They said, it's that's a brutal section, and some people say, we try to even them out. We try to not load up sessions, but with Lawrence County, you can't. You can't separate Shenango, Laurel, and Neshannock. You just can't.
Yeah.
Right? You just got to put them together, and it was a good, and it was a positive discussion. Like I said, not everyone always agrees with everything, but that's what we came up with. We came up with Laurel, we came up with Chartiers, and then we went to Shenango, to Bentworth.
The one thing I talked about in a couple sections, whether it be softball or baseball, and doing the bracketology, is when you get a section that strong, like we were just talking about in Section 1 of 2A, and you have 4, whether it be 3 or 4 really strong teams coming out of that section, I talk about separating them into 4 different quadrants. And that's what you guys did here, whether you did it on purpose or not. You got Laurel in the upper left at number 1, Neshannock lower left at 5, Shenango lower right at 6, and Riverside upper right at 7. Is that ever a talking point amongst you guys? Of this section's loaded, so let's kind of separate them.
Yeah, it's something we have talked about in the past. It's the things that we, I think we had it last year. Maybe it was single way we had it last year with Carmichael's and
yes.
I think we separated them all.
Yeah,
and I think 3 out of the 4. Union's Union, of course, but we kind of separated them, and it's just how it worked out this year. I think I think we all kind of did. I don't know if we really came out and said, okay, hey, we need to separate everybody. No, we didn't say that, but
Okay.
it just kind of worked out that way. And we go, oh, look at this. This is probably right.
Yeah. No, I thought it was well done. All right. So that's a loaded 2A. And again, I'm not advising fans to ignore the first round, but
Oh, the quarterfinals is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, quarters and semis, and hopefully the
unbelievable.
Championship. Yep. All right, one left, Class A. That's in your wheelhouse. 12 teams, 4 first-round byes. Union, Carmichael's, Sarah Catholic, the section champions, get those byes 1, 2, and 4. 3 seed is West Green. The Pioneers, runners up to Carmichael's, and what a battle that was between Jefferson Morgan, West Green, and Carmichael's down to the wire, with the Mighty Mikes winning out and West Green taking second. Jefferson Morgan, to once again show the strength of that section, is the 5th seed. Anything jump out here? I kind of looked at it and said, yeah, that's pretty much, if you fed a computer with all the information, it would probably spit out this ticket.
Yeah, that's basically what we thought, because you had you have Union, who had who goes out and they play those non-section games as well. And
Yep.
they play them well, because there were some people like locally around here says, oh, they come over to me and they'll say, oh, they're Carmichael's will be the one. And I said, well, we'll wait and we'll see. Obviously we'll wait and see how that turns out. But we still believe that Union is, they're still the top dog. Carmichael's ain't bad. They still got Bailey there pitching, and she's awful tough to hit. And then with West Green coming in that second spot, we almost had a mess. If Jefferson would have beat Carmichael's in that last game, we would have had a 3-way tie for first place. We would have been back in that same situation that we were talking about in 2A, but it was Carmichael's beating Jefferson this time around. But and Sarah Catholic played some teams.
Yeah,
they opened up the season with I think it was South Park. They played South Park pretty good. Granted, it was in March, but they played them pretty tough. And so I think we got the 1, 2, 3, 4 right, and we'll just see how it all turns out when it's all said and done.
How tough is it for some of these teams? We got byes here in Class A. Those teams won't play till a week from Monday. 3A, same situation. Those teams, the 4 teams with byes, won't play till a week from Monday. 4A byes a week from Thursday, May 14th for those teams. And then Hempfield and Seneca Valley, Tuesday, May 19th. I know that there are scrimmages or whatever that you can set up, but sometimes a bye isn't always the best thing.
No, it isn't. Coaches hate it. I can tell you right now. I've already talked to a couple where this thing came out at 3:00 and then sent it out. I already got, well, we got to wait until Monday. And I go, yeah. It's just what it is. They don't like it. I wouldn't like it. I hate sitting around. I just hate it, because after a while you can only do so much, especially if it starts raining and you have to go into the gymnasium and practice. It's brutal. But it is what it is. I don't know what else you can do about it. These guys are going to have to find a scrimmage or but then I also know coaches who don't want to play anybody. They just want to keep their kids fresh and rested, and they don't want to they're afraid of someone getting hurt in a game. So
one more thing before I let you go. We've been talking for years with district baseball. They have the section series, which I think is a tremendous idea. Mm-hmm. And I know that Bob Bizzuto, who will have one tomorrow, the chair of the baseball committee, has been pushing for years to have some sort of series, not necessarily every round, but maybe semifinals where it's a best of 3. Has that ever any of that, like having a series, whether it be the semifinals and finals, ever been discussed amongst the softball committee?
I think about 3 or 4 years. I think when Tim was there when it first came, I think it might have been talked about. I remember one time it being discussed, but everyone, the deadlines, the days,
Yeah.
everyone's afraid of that, and do you run them back to back with the girls? You run games back to back, and we play the best of three. At one time, it has been talked about in a long, long time. I can tell you that. But I do like how baseball. I do like how they do the scheduled baseball.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's a great idea.
I agree. I'd like. There's a lot of dead time. I know that there were some teams, baseball, not necessarily softball, were playing section games earlier in the week, but this whole week, kind of is a dead week. It'd be nice to somehow, because I know that the concern for any sort of series would be, well, we got to be done. It's a finite date that we have to be done with our district playoffs. And if we get rain, then what are you going to do? All that stuff. I get that. But if there was a way, to me, that's always better than just one and done. But the finality of one and done
would be nice. Yeah, it would be nice if we could do it. You get the situation. Also, you got to remember, like fields, like a lot of the smaller schools, they don't have turf. We're still playing grass and dirt down here in most of these places. And like you get a little bit of rain, you're kind of in trouble. You're in trouble.
We still play on grass and dirt. Isn't that a sad statement?
That's what it should be.
That seems like it. Yeah, exactly.
But they figured it out. Yeah. Yep. I love it. I love grass and dirt.
Yep. Scott, appreciate your time. Get out of witness protection alive, my friend.
All right.
If you wouldn't, when you enter that room, have those fogger things, like you're coming out of a big helmet at the start of a football game, like you're Ray Lewis or something, we probably wouldn't have this problem.
I know. Well, I just had the house painted too, so maybe I don't know. Maybe I ought to go with something like darker. I think I go blue.
I appreciate your time. Good stuff, my friend.
All right, buddy. You take care.
All right, you as well.
All right, bye-bye.
Scott Moore, Associate Athletic Director at Jefferson Morgan High School, and he has been now chair for a few years of the WPIAL Softball Committee. We appreciate him jumping on and joining us and adding some insight. Hopefully, answer any questions you may have when the brackets come on. If you're not happy where you're seated or your favorite school is seated, nothing he said or I say is ever going to appease you. You will play the disrespect card, and God bless you. If that's what it takes to have a long run, so be it. But the journey has begun. Monday, a prelim game and some first-round games. Tuesday, more games. Thursday, more first-round games, weather permitting. Our good friends at Edgar Snyder and Associate have sponsored our broadcast here today. Edgar Snyder and Associates, go local. Go with Edgar, helping injured people since 1982. If needed, check them out at edgarsnyder.com. Thanks to Scott Moore. Thanks to our producer extraordinaire, Chris Lackner, and our social media guru as well. I'm Don Rebel. We'll do it all again, and this time for WPIAL Baseball coming up tomorrow at 1 o'clock, right here on the TribLive High School Sports Network.